Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome into the video. So in this one, we're going to talk about the pullback that started in the market last week and what to expect next, including key trigger points for upside and downside to watch. Then we're going to go over a bunch of trade ideas and setups for the week ahead that I'm watching. And as always, there are timestamps in the description for any part that you want to skip to. Let's go ahead and get into it. So starting out, taking a look at the S&P futures chart. Last week we talked about how it was testing the long-term resistance zone at 45.80 to 46.32. I talked about the key pivot levels that I was watching, which were at 46.32, which a break above there would trigger the next leg higher for the market, and 45.60 as key support, which if that was broken below, it would likely lead to a test of the 44.93 to 4500 key support zone below. And that downside scenario is exactly what played out last week. The break below 45.60 is what started the breakdown. It later backtested 45.60 as the resistance, which held, and then sold down to the key 44.93 to 500 zone on Friday afternoon. So that zone, the 44.93 to 4,500, is a major decision point for the market direction moving forward. This was the previous resistance and breakout trigger of that 1+ month-long consolidation range, as shown by the arrows on this chart. And as of now, this is just a simple backtest of the previous breakout as support. But if it was to fail, it can start a leg lower for the market. So moving forward, the S&P needs to reclaim back above 45.60 to restart upside, or it will continue lower on a break below 44.93. If it was to break lower, the next key levels to watch below are at 44.64, 4400 to 4410, and then 43.68, which was the bottom of that previous 1 month plus consolidation. A possible bullish setup to watch for could be something like sell down to one of those below levels and then reclaim back above 4500, which would then trap shorts and likely start upside once again. And it's always important to zoom out to the bigger picture. Overall, the market has been needing a sizable pullback for a while, and this is more than normal to see after such a large upside move over the past 2 months. Breaking below 44.93 can start a larger pullback, but for longer term time frames, in my opinion, we are in a bull market as long as the S&P is above the 4200 level, which was the major breakout trigger from the beginning of June. I've talked about this before, but my personal dream scenario would be a retest of that 4200 level, hold there as support, and then from there could see an explosive move to new highs on the larger time frames. I have doubt that this pullback goes that far, and certainly not betting on it to happen, as the market could easily hold support and resume higher as early as next week. But if something like this scenario plays out, it would be an A+ long setup if buyers come in there, and it would just be an overall simple breakout retest bounce setup, which often result in a higher high above those previous highs when they do play out. And the great thing about market pullbacks during uptrends as well is it will set up individual stocks much better. A lot of the strongest stocks have been very overextended for a while and need a healthy pullback or basing phase to cool off and build up energy to set up and move higher afterwards. During market pullbacks, you want to watch for stocks that continue strength by either building out bull flags or healthy pullbacks to set up those next leg higher. Also, a major sign of strength is a stock that is moving higher during a market pullback in the indexes, and a perfect example of that is Mercado Libre, ticker symbol MELI. For a deeper dive into the setup, I wrote about this in the newsletter from last Monday, which is 100% free to subscribe to in the first link down in the description. So this stock has been in about 7-month-long basing period and is testing the key resistance and breakout zone at 1300 to 1365. It reported very strong earnings last week and popped on huge volume to test this zone again. So I'm watching this for a break above 1365 to start the breakout, and I would be targeting those gap fills above, shown by the dotted lines at 1600 and then 1753 next above there. These arrows show how major of a zone this is and how well it's been respected for the past 3+ years. Breaking above 1365 is very likely to result in a substantial move higher, and this is a potential A+ setup in my book if it's able to break out above that zone. Baidu, ticker symbol BIDU, it's another great looking setup which is in this 1.5 year long inverse head and shoulders pattern and consolidating just below the major trendline resistance shown in the white trend line at about 157.5 as of now. So this is a very close watch for me for a break and hold above there to start a substantial move higher out of this long-term base. Breaking above there, the targets above I would be watching for at 175, 200 to 206, and then 227 next above there. Before we get into a few more bullish setups that I'm watching, let's take a look at the market leaders in Apple and Microsoft. These two stocks are the largest percent holdings in the S&P 500 and NASDAQ indexes, and if these two head lower, then it's highly likely that the indexes will follow. So Apple stock reported earnings on Thursday of last week. The market was not a fan, which resulted in this gap down and break of the 5-month-long trend. With a setup like this and a major break, it is highly unlikely that it's just going to bounce right back and recover. It'll take some time, no doubt. It also closed back below the January 2022 highs, which is another bearish signal. So the biggest level below that I'll be watching for is this at 176.5. As shown by the arrows, this is a major level, and if the broader trend is strong, that is the area where it should find strong support at. Microsoft has a similar look to it. It failed to hold above the 2021 highs at 349.67 and now is nearing the bottom of its 2-month plus long range at 322. So if 322 fails to hold, this can continue lower there, where 292.5 is the biggest level below, which was a major breakout trigger from April that started that large multi-month run higher and would be a high conviction spot to hold as support if it was to be tested. So now getting back into some bullish trade setups and ideas, XPeng, ticker symbol XPEV, is one that I'm watching very closely into next week. It is nearing a backtest of the key $17.1 to $18 zone, which are those white levels as shown on the chart. That zone held as lows of the range for 2 years. It triggered the breakdown in 2022 on the break below there, and now the trend is potentially changing back to bullish as long as it is able to hold above there. So zooming in, as we can see, a couple weeks ago it had that massive volume spike resulting in the breakout above the 17.1 to 18 zone, and now has pulled back and is testing it as support now. If it is able to hold here, this looks like a great risk-reward long trade for a move higher. Something like this would be a scenario that I'm watching for if that zone is able to hold. Like I talked about earlier, breakout, retest, bound setups like this one will often make a higher high end result if it does play out, which could potentially result in a move towards that long-term trendline resistance as shown below if so. And another setup that I'm watching for opportunities in the week ahead is with Match Group, ticker symbol MTCH. This stock has been a major laggard for a while, but earlier in the year it bounced off 31.5, which was lows from 2018. After that, it had a trendline break, resulting in strong follow-through to the upside. It went on about a 40% run, and now is in the pullback phase. I'm watching this as a possible dip buy at the 50 and 200 day moving average cluster, which is at 42.41 and 41.9. Buying at that range with a stop loss on a close below 41.9, which is the 200 day moving average, offers a great long risk reward opportunity, which if so would put in a higher low and set up a possible continuation move to the upside. So that is everything that I'm watching for in the week ahead, including the market pullback, what the leaders need to do, and those bullish setups that I'm watching. Hope you all enjoyed and hope I provided some value to you. If so, make sure the like button and subscribe button down below helps me out a lot. For anybody interested in joining the private Discord chat, that is the first link down in the description to get my personal trade alerts, nightly watch lists, and you can ask me any questions there. Thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you next time. Good luck trading this week, and peace out.